Hello and welcome back to another Iron Lung Theory video. Before I begin, this video does contain spoilers for the movie, so watch at your own risk. Okay, so since Iron Lung got its digital release, and I've been blessed with the godly power of pause and rewind, or pause and that navigation bar thing, whatever you call it on YouTube, I've been kind of playing detective and looking for clues within the film, because it really does seem like that kind of film where nothing is quite as it seems, and I know there are hidden clues and hidden messages, and I'm determined to discover them, particularly when the director himself posts things saying that there are things that people haven't noticed yet. And I swear this isn't just an excuse for me to rewatch the film over and over again. Well, it's not the only reason anyway. As I've been doing this, one of the things that I noticed that I didn't really pick up on when I watched it at the theatre, twice, is the significance of a particular item. Specifically this costume prop, which appears to be a knife holder, minus the knife, which was presumably confiscated by the COI. So what is significant about this? Well, a knife holder probably isn't that unusual. After all, Simon was a member of Eden, and Eden is essentially the rebel force of the Iron Lung universe. So it seems reasonable to assume that they would all have weapons. But that's not why this is significant. The knife holder is important because of its emotional value to Simon. If you watch carefully, you can see several times throughout the film, when things are getting scary or tough, or he's hearing noises outside and he doesn't know what they are, he'll actually reach for this particular item of clothing. This happens several times. It's like a subconscious instinct to reach for that to give himself comfort. And this is a really nice piece of direction because it's a really good way of showing Simon's emotional depth without him having to say anything, because obviously he has very few people he can actually talk to. This is another layer on top of that, where it gives the character true emotional depth. It's so subtle that you probably need a pause button and rewind to notice it. But at the same time, I do think that when watching it at the theatre, I was subconsciously aware that he was doing something like that he did keep touching something for comfort. I just didn't quite understand in my conscious mind what was going on until I re-watched and really paid attention. And was able to get in, really close, really zoom in on the screen by sitting forward on my seat. So this item has emotional value for him. He touches it when things are getting tough. He also actively protects it. When he goes under the shaft thing, whatever it's called, underneath the submarine to fix the electrics, he actually takes this item off and throws it in the corner of the submarine. Do submarines have corners? Well, you know what I mean. So he actually protects this thing, meaning it does hold a lot of emotional value. But why? It could be that, in the same vein as the Eden pendant that he wraps around his wrist and gets emotional over when it cracks, this item reminds him of Eden and his brothers, and it holds emotional value for that reason. But two significant scenes suggest that that's not the only case. In the flashback scene, about halfway through the film, we see this knife holder, with a knife in it this time, being handed to a young Simon by a female figure. This person is later revealed to be his mother. I'll come on to that. And in the flashback scene we also see young Simon wearing it. So this is something he's had since childhood, given to him by his mother. So now we can start to see why it holds such emotional value. Now, of course, why his mother gave him a knife as a child is perhaps a question best left to another discussion, especially when certain flashback scenes kind of hint at some extremely troubling moments in his past. Okay, so how do we know for sure that it was his mother who gave him this item and not just some other figure from his past? Well, in the final scenes of the film, Simon has been tasked with protecting the black box. So he gets the black box and he attempts to tie a life jacket around it so that it can float to the surface. At this point, blood is gushing in and he has to think fast, and he finds that the life jacket won't stay on the black box, so he needs to tie it with something. And he looks around and he finds the knife holder that he left in the corner, or on the floor, and he uses that to tie around the life jacket to secure the black box and make sure it gets to the surface to the best of his ability. And when he does this, he says, so this confirms that the knife holder does have significance to his mother, and that she is more than likely the person giving it to him in the flashback scene. The fact that he's telling her to protect it sounds very spiritual. It indicates his mother is in fact dead, and that he's speaking to her spirit, perhaps her up in heaven. And considering it indicates that Simon doesn't actually believe in God, this also shows that in a moment like this, in a moment of certain death, we really reach out to any hope that we can give ourselves. So that's how we know that this piece of costume, this prop that perhaps at first glance doesn't have much meaning beyond a costume piece, actually has high emotional significance to the character, and is a way to communicate his emotions to the viewer without actually saying anything. And this is really powerful because, like I say, this is a way to hit the viewer's subconscious, because I do believe that I noticed, it came across, but I didn't actually realise what the item was. I didn't realise its significance. The flashbacks go by very quickly when you can't pause. And in the end, it shows Simon's willingness to give up something that means so much to him. So much that he protects it from getting damaged, even above himself. But he's willing to give that up. He's willing to let it go for the sake of what he believes is right, and for the sake of that slim chance that he might be able to help people. So by the end of the movie, again, this item is being used very cleverly to show the character transformation that Simon has gone through. By this point, he's willing to sacrifice himself, and despite saying that he never had anything to begin with, he's willing to sacrifice the one thing that he holds dear to him. And I think this is a lesson to people, anyone creating films or stories out there. It's a lesson of how one very, very small, very tiny detail, just a prop, something that does not seem meaningful and is never announced to be meaningful, can carry such emotional weight and such significance to the character that it hits our subconscious even if we don't realise it. So that's it for this video. Feel free to leave a comment telling me if you noticed this piece of costume at all, or if you, like me, maybe knew it was there but didn't realise its significance for the story. Or maybe you did. Maybe you were one of the eagle-eyed viewers that really noticed the flashbacks in your third or fourth viewing and pieced it all together. Please do tell me, I'm very interested to hear. And if you have any other theories about this, or any other piece of costume or anything else in the movie, feel free to drop a comment, have a discussion, you know. And if you enjoyed this video, please do like, subscribe for more irregular content, and I will see you later.